A very good evening, everyone. Sorry about that. I hope you can hear now. A very good evening, everyone, online and at Tushita. And welcome for this session with Venerable Geshema Tenzin Lhadron. And thank you so much, Geshema, for accepting our invitation to talk about the meaning, the purpose of human life, right? And before we start, let me just quickly introduce Geshema. I think Geshema is the first time in Tushita, no?
Yeah, my first time.
Wow, so very welcome and thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
So Geshema is originally from Ladakh and more specifically in the Zanskar Valley.
Yeah.
And she's been teaching with His Holiness since she was age of 13, His Holiness the Dalai Lama. And then further to His Holiness's teachings and advice, she decided to make her journey to Dharamshala in Himachal Pradesh to study the essence of the Buddha's teachings. She then joined the first groups of nuns at Jamyang Choeling Institute, which is an educational institute for Himalayan Buddhist women in Dharamshala. And for about 23 years, she received comprehensive education in the 5 major Buddhist philosophical texts of the ancient Indian Nalanda tradition. And she received those teachings from many great practitioners and learned teachers at the teachers from the Institute of Buddhist Dialectics and from Namgyal Monastery as well, His Holiness's monastery in Dharamshala. She enrolled in the first group of nuns who set the historic Board of Geshema Degree examinations in 2013, and she successfully completed them in 2016 and received a prestigious Geshe degree from His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Venerable Geshema is currently serving as an Indian National Sangha Council member of the Indian Himalayan Council of Nalanda Buddhist Tradition and is involved with the work of the Himalayan Buddhist Culture Association, whose work is preserving and promoting the ancient Nalanda and Tibetan Buddhist tradition in communities in the Indian Himalaya regions and elsewhere. And I think also Venerable Geshema is also now teaching for Forest of Wisdom in the US, right? Where is it again? From Connecticut. What else should I say that is important?
That's okay.
Okay, so.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Venerable Geshema, for accepting, and please share the Dharma with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So, thank you so much. I'm sorry for making you wait. Anyway, so we are here today, right? Thank you for Nicole, Ojala, and everyone. Thank you for having me here. Can you hear me?
Online, yes.
Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you so much once again, Nicole, and all of you. And I apologize for making you to wait. But anyway, we make it exactly at 7:15, which is good. So yeah, it's my first time visiting Tushita in Delhi, but I know I attended many, courses, retreat at Tushita in Dharamsala, and also at Reading Institute in Bodhgaya. So quite a long time that I'm connected with the FMT. Tushita is known as a Tushita, but it's known as a FMT, right? So I'm so happy to be here, and today is supposed to share about the purpose of human, right? Human life. Purpose of human life. So I think, all of you are most led like a part of Nalanda master course or diploma courses from the Tibet House, right? Many of you, right? But some, okay. Yeah, some, that's right. Anyway, so I'm also, even though I have done my Geshe degrees, the first batch, which was in 2016, but what I find learning about the Nalanda teaching is there's no limit. It goes like life after life, many, many, many years. The more you try to learn, the more that you find that you don't know anything. It's really, but it keep you to keep learning, keep listening, teaching, keep watching. And at the same time, maybe, good to share what you know a little bit. And even though you don't know, but say something what you feel. It could be wrong, it could be right. Nobody's like as an ordinary people, we can't really expect like a perfection at the beginning. So you could just walk slowly, step by step and learning. And so the today's topic is actually the purpose of human life. We were talking, Nicole, about what kind of topic we should, pick if you could give a talk. Because I was coming back from Sarah. I was in Sarah Monastery for about a month, participating in the debate in English, Nalanda debate in English, which was really nice. Being in the monastery is always, I'm blessed, feel really, really blessed and relaxed, So then I'm here in Delhi and staying for a few days, or a few weeks actually, since I arrived on the 7th. And then what did I do? A few other things, which mostly like are connected with the Nalanda courses, Nalanda teachings. And it's something that really always, I never get tired listening and just hearing and talking about Nalanda. So, which is really, really precious thing, right? And I'll just start straight away for the talk, right? No kind of formal, any prayer or anything, not necessary, because it was a little late, and then just good to just talk about what does it mean by what is precious human life, or what is the purpose of human life. And I'm not sure whether I have anything that new that I could share with you or not, but I could relate something that what I feel and what I think. What is the purpose of life? What is the purpose of human life? Do we have any purpose? Sometimes you feel like, life is meaningless because samsara is always trouble, problem, complaint. But if you look at always thinking about the negative side, what is happening in our life, it may be build up some kind of stress and anxiety, which is not good. So maybe good to see the positive side of the life, human life, and then life. When you talk about this from the scientific point of view about life, living, sentient being, there's so many different kind of explanation you can find. For example, you get, like trees or plants are life or not, or maybe yes, life, but not really sentient beings. So we are sentient being, and then out of the sentient being, we are human beings, right? So we may be good to make something differentiation between animals and human. What is the difference between animal and human? What is the difference between dog and cat and human? We are not here just for survival, I think. So then why are we here? It's if you can talk a lot in deeper philosophical thinking about, you really talk about the human life, the precious human, and how hard to get this precious human life. Very, very deep philosophical thinking about the concept of karma, rebirth system, and everything. But maybe just stick with more simple thing. what is human? What is the reason why? What was the main purpose of human life? And I'm sure most of you had received teachings or heard about the Dalai Lama, right? His Holiness the Dalai Lama always talk about the human life, the purpose of life. And if people ask, what is the purpose of life? He just straight away said, the purpose of life is happiness. And then how can you really achieve that happiness? How many different kind of layers are there? And how do you define happiness? So happiness, satisfaction, or more kind of, ease life. There are so many different kind of, characteristic when you're saying like purpose of life and happiness. And how can you really achieve the happiness? And maybe good to look at, you study Lamrim, I'm sure, right? When you read Lamrim teachings about Lama Tsongkhapa, I'm sure you have heard, right? Have you heard about the 14th century great saint? He was known as like the Buddha in the land of snow. And he have written this called like the Graduation Graded to the Path to Enlightenment. It's huge volume. And I think you have the translation of English, 3 volumes. And at the beginning, it's talk a lot about the precious human life. You start from the precious human life. So you could go more and deeper. How hard to find this precious human life, and how could you really use this human life in good purpose? Good purpose means not really just menial thing. I mean, just for survival. Dog and cat, they can survive somehow with, if they find food and shelter, they survive. But of course, then when you look from the bigger picture, from the Buddhist explanation, dog and cat also have Buddha nature. We should take care of them, love them. When you do the generating the bodhicitta, you have heard about bodhicitta, right? So the precious human life, or the purpose of human life, should be more like a stick with the altruistic mind and compassion, care more about the positive side of our mind, and then try to increase or solidify that positivities within yourself, and try to minimize the negativities. But then how could you really identify what is the negative, what is positive? It's not easy. So for that, you require to study a lot. And whenever you have time, study, read books, listen teachings. We have many great teachers into this world. Of course, we have in the past, but now, we have many programs actually in English language, Hindi language, many, talk, teaching programs available online, offline. So whenever you have time to just, get an interest, and just maybe good to just explore. How can you really find some good purpose in your life? Something good, purpose. You may have many different purpose, but if you Google about what is your, I was actually Googling about what kind of purpose for your life. And you could give so many explanations. Some of the scientific explanations are pretty good actually, because it really much deal with this reality. And these are also, like a Buddha's teaching. You can find many of them are from Buddha's teaching too. And not only the Buddha's teaching, but many the authentic tradition. I would say authentic tradition means like teaching that available in this world, could be coming from different religious tradition. They, in Buddhism, you said the method and the wisdom. When you talk about the method means compassion, loving kindness, and altruistic mind, patience, generosity. When this practice, it looks almost quite not identical, but there are so many common you can find from different tradition. I mean, I haven't studied that much about other tradition, but by looking this, some of this, like, who have, the religious or the spiritual kind of impact from the Christian background, or Hinduism, or Muslim, or Sikhism, they do a lot of good things, with pure motivation, service. In India, we talk a lot about service. And I think 2005, we were talking about live in Delhi. I stayed in Delhi for, I think, about 3 months. And we were staying in the ashram. It's called ashram, where they organize a lot of interfaith dialogue, and they say like a sewa karna hai. They have a langar, and then people do volunteer work to make a food and give, offer the food to like people who are very poor, some who are very ill health, and some are really having difficulty in their families' life. They do a lot of good things, a lot of service, a sewa. It's called like a sewa karna hai. And then you can stay there and you can do a lot of volunteers, gardening, cooking, cleaning, and you can even go to participate in different prayer services. Then different. We have all the shrine. I should go to visit one day actually again. It's a little bit outside of Delhi, but where they have, I learned a lot from them. Very simple people, and coming from different, they have a lot of network in different parts of the world too. It's more really like a Sardarji Sikhism in a way, but you have shrine, like a Buddhist shrine. It's called Buddhist Jesus Garden, Buddha's Garden, and then Ram Garden. You have, big kind of a property where you have like all the shrines are there. And then, just a time to time they gather together and do prayer and service together. This is a really beauty. I just learned this kind of thing are very, very kind of helpful.
Where is that?
it's called Gobind Sadan. I haven't been there since, I think my last visit was what, maybe 15 years, 10, 15 years, 2005. I stayed there for about 2 months, and we have really, very, very warm-hearted person who's looking, in charge of the, it's kind of charity or ashram, I don't know. She's from America, and she does a lot of service there. But anyway, you can find many different organizations who do really good thing to service, and they're looking for like the purpose of their life. And then purpose of their life, you can find your purpose of life is by doing service, by doing seva, by doing consultation, by doing maybe prayer offering. People seeking some prayer offering too. So then you could do like a complex philosophical study to solidify the understanding of the precious human life. And then some very simple way that you could do, anybody can adopt this kind of activities on a daily basis. So yeah, then, you have to, I think what we need to do to find a precious and to find like a purpose in life is never give up, be courageous. Be courageous doesn't mean like wrongdoing. Arrogant and courageous, there's some differences between arrogant and courageous. Courageous people who are really kind of have a big heart to do some good thing for the society and for oneself. But bold, overconfident is also dangerous. So because of that, you have to be just maybe good to just try to find how do you be more grounded. It's a pretty good word. More grounded means like if something good happened for your life, not get that excited straight away. If something difficult or hard time, or maybe difficult sad thing happen, but not really get kind of broken heart. Things happen. You can expect what will happen, but maybe prepare something. I think His Holiness often talk about that. What was it? There's a saying when he says, couldn't remember now, but I think the meaning was like have the far vision, but then prepare from the worst. What is that saying? Do you know the saying? It's like but you should have like far vision. Exactly. Expect the best and then prepare the worst. It's something like that. Yeah. Doesn't mean intentionally prepare something bad thing for you, but you have to sacrifice if you want to achieve something good, long-term goal, long-term vision, something that benefit for many people, not only just many people, but many living beings. There are people who do like, environmental protection. There are people who do like a community service. There are people who do, like a health work. And so wherever you are working, whatever you're doing, I'm doing this for my own good, my own, like I say, means if you do something good for others, you should get some kind of satisfaction what you have done it, and then rejoice it. If you get the satisfaction and then rejoice that the good thing that we have created, it's known like a karma, good karma that you have accumulated. If you rejoice, that will give you a kind of another extra sort of energy or another courageous to doing again. And then that actually how you usually multiply too. So dedication in this knowing that when you do this kind of prayer teaching, we do dedication. What does it mean? Dedication is wishing that this kind of good deeds last long, to get the fruit bigger and bigger and bigger. Very simple word, but you can dig much deeper, and you could do that. So you could pick up a very simple example, but then you could make it very big, very effective for society. So the precious, like a purpose of life is happiness, and then remove suffering. And then we need to know how to remove the suffering. We need to realize what others, how can you really identify suffering as suffering? Because I think we are, or me, maybe like misconceiving that, like suffering nature is like a pleasant, but you need to recognize this, because sometimes we're clinging this. Oh, that's nice, that's beautiful. Our minds just often go like external things, but maybe better to look inside rather than external things. But of course, this interaction between the external and internal does always happen, but then use our mind. I don't know about brain, but probably yes too, but use our mind, the wisdom and the compassion that is known as some wisdom and compassion, which is mental quality. It's a quality of our mind. And then you can expand that infinitely. You can really expand that. You can reach out for many, many beings. Whether you know them or you don't know them, doesn't matter. Because just, when you see other people, there's someone who don't know, but I'm meeting with just some, another human being, rather than getting scared or fear or, frightened. Why we get fear and frightened? Because we somehow kind of have distrust, or maybe some sort of doubt. If people who grow up in a society where you have a lot of problem all the time, conflict, for example, look at kind of war zone, or where you have always hatred, you could feel that it's not really, it really affect your body too, of course your mind, right? But if you try to just smile, those, even though you don't know the person, but sometimes he's always share a lot this story, right? Sometimes, even though you don't know the person, if if you see on the street or shopping mall or wherever you meet, you can just say that, even though you don't know each other, but if you say tashitele or, hello and smile, there are some area you said, what is wrong with her? She smiled to me. Why she's doing that? It's our human nature, no? Right? I think so. Smiling, good smile, like very good smile, that actually connect from human to human, right? I think it's good thing to have the smile and laugh. But maybe they think, oh, what is wrong with her? Maybe their interpretation about smiling is something different, or maybe their understanding is something different, but that's okay too. You can welcome them, no problem. Maybe the second time, maybe he or she will be reacting something differently. So what we need to do now is need to know about what is the purpose of your life. Anybody know can you give me any kind of example? What is the purpose of your life? His Holiness said the purpose of life is happiness, and then shun the suffering, or end suffering. That's a big statement. How could you really do that? But you could have another simple thing. Yeah. Do you have?
I recently went to Bhutan, and they measure their happiness with gross national gross national happiness index. So the gross happiness index is the benchmark, and they actually practice that to see if they are progressing well. So I just wanted to talk about that. So it's good at a country level, and it was initiated by the King of Bhutan way back in probably the late 90s when he coined this term. Yeah.
Yeah, I have heard that too. The national, what was that? National Happiness Project or something. Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Maybe it's good to have, we could create like in different, then maybe the FMT Happiness Project or program. Maybe you may already have, I don't know, how to create the happiness within yourself, and how can you really share with others by smiling, by communicating, by sharing tea, or maybe by just walk into the garden together and have a really good conversation about how can you really bring something good, something peace, harmonious, kindness, compassion within ourselves, and then how can you really influence for others. If you have this kind of conversation, it will be really meaningful. Our life will be really meaningful, definitely. Yeah. So Any other thought about what is the purpose of human life? Not just life, but human life. Anything? Yes.
So I think for the purpose of the human life, it's not just to benefit oneself, but to benefit others as well. Not like cats and dogs. They have personal, they are focused on personal things, but as human, we have to help others as well. So to spread happiness.
Yeah, the purpose of life is altruistic, which is altruistic mind or compassion. That's another way to say altruistic mind or compassion. And then what is compassion? And you need to study these things and then try to understand the meaning and then implement. Not just knowing is not enough, but implement it into day-to-day life. And it's not easy, definitely. Just knowing intellectually is easy, but when it comes to very complicated, sometimes it's, things can become really complicated. And then at that time, you need to have the patience. Patient. Then also need to learn about patience. The advantages to practice patience and the disadvantage of getting angry or annoying. If you get angry, if you get kind of annoying, it will end up you in trouble rather than bringing good results. But it's when you look at this, but if you're looking like a broader national level or international level, and then individual level, community level, individual level, I think my attitude is more like you should start from individual level, and you can do what you can do. Really, not expect that others can do for you. What you can do for yourself and what you can do for your, friend around. There are sometimes it's quite difficult to get others. You don't need to get the people to acknowledge what you're doing, what you're trying to do, good thing. Many people, because we are kind of, under the sway of affliction, under the attachment, aversion, it's not easy to acknowledge what is good and what is not good. But we never give up. That's the courage thing. Altruistic mind. Altruistic mind means benefit something for long term. And then the short term also, yes. If someone is really ill, for example, someone has to go to the hospital to get emergency kind of a surgery or something. If you have the potential to help that person, if you have, could be time, could be money, could be food, could be clothes, maybe try to do it, if you have extra. But if there's nothing that you can do, then pray for that. I wish I could do in the future sometime. At this point, I don't have anything. I don't have the capacity, or I don't have the resources at the moment, but pray for that. And then some other people who are doing that, just rejoice them. Be happy with them, Then also sometimes maybe good to say, I'm so happy, I really rejoice what you're doing. And that encourage people to do more good things, for them to do more, like a purpose life. Yeah. Actually, the thought, I was just chatting searching on the internet, and I found a few things these are really nice, but it's just a PowerPoint. We don't need to share. Maybe I could show this picture. It's actually from His Holiness website. Maybe you could see these photos. His Holiness shared the smile with the world, right? See, he, of course, he traveled around the world, and then how he interact with people, no matter whether president or the servant or the sweeper or the cook, he just, meeting same everyone. But of course, we can't really compare to him, but we can learn a lot from him. We can not only just listen to teaching, but looking at how he interact with people, how he really, physically, eye contact, the way that he speaks. Sometimes there's, the tone of his speech. There's so much in it you can learn. You have to be really smart. You have to be really careful how to listen this teaching and then try to implement in your daily life. Because, we are doing good thing in a way, because, when you look outside, there are a lot of, conflict and chaos are happening, but, we are here together to do something good, something useful for our life and for others. If we try to be good for others, it will the maximum benefit we get. You get really, like a satisfaction, right? You get really happy about that. So if you like indulging into like only wrong thinking, wrongdoing, I'm pretty sure the mind will be not happy. Yeah, maybe because of that, there are people who are always doing the wrong, engaging in wrong thinking, and they can't sleep well. They have to take a sleeping pill, or I don't know, they have to go to psychologist, or I don't know, therapy, physical therapy, mental therapy, whatever, I don't know. When you study Buddha's teaching about compassion and tolerance and life, purpose of the life, each one of us can become therapists ourselves. And then you can share with others. Yeah, and I was just looking at how His Holiness explained about the purpose of life. He started with the main purpose of life is happiness, and increase your happiness, and then decrease or minimize the suffering. And that's a simple way. And then you could go to the individual level, to community level, and then the humanity as a whole. This is how he actually explained. These are, cultivating compassion, altruism, and he's always in the past, of course, he's now in 90s, probably traveling is reducing, but when he was traveling around the world, like in America, Europe, in different places, he was interacting with all these children many times. Like, see, these children who have beautiful smile. I really amazed these things. It's our responsible for now is search the good thing from the internet and then try to share with those who are in need, those who are not aware what is going on. And there are many people who are not aware what His Holiness is doing for the world. And of course there are huge number who are aware, but there are many more. So each one of us can do some contribution to share the wisdom and compassion that His Holiness is doing for the world until for the last, I don't know, many lifetimes, but especially the 14th Dalai Lama, when he came from Tibet to India. And then if you read his books or watch the talks and teachings and dialogue or conversation taking place between scientists and philosopher, or interfaith dialogue, or he used to take a lot of interfaith kind of service in Delhi. I actually, I'm quite aware, taking place at the Rajghat, with the Gandhi crematorium place, and sometime in the temple, like in Chhatarpur area. And then, yes, and also not only in India, but it's also in America and in Europe, in Australia, different places. So we are really lucky that you come across and meet the teachings of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, which is coming from like 2,500 years before, from Buddha. So Buddhas give the teaching how to create each individual like a very happy person, fearless person, a compassionate person, like a courageous person. Courageous doesn't mean destroying things, but constructive thing. Do more kind of constructive thing. To do more constructive thing, you should be courageous. To destruction, maybe not courageous, and discouraged. We can try, why not, right? We can really try. And yeah, I was just looking at this, the values, the education value, the secular-based values, how do you really promote like purpose your life. And these are really, valuable thing that you could share. And I just found the verses from Arya Nagarjuna, the impressed to the Dhammadhatu. And have you heard that? Impressed to Dhammadhatu means in praising the Buddha nature. But some people often say that the basic goodness of our heart, each and everyone have some good thing within yourself. What is that? The potential to become fully awakened. Each individual, each sentient being have that basic goodness. It's known as a Dhammadhatu, it's a Buddha nature. It's the nature, the potential is we have within ourselves. And then how do you really mature that? Then reflecting to sort of steady reflection, and then meditate. Meditate, not really necessarily like sit, cross your leg, close your. Of course, it's, we need to do a certain session in a day, but whenever you're interacting with people, walking, talking, if you're just mindful with what is right thing to do and what is not right thing to do, and if you just always go with this, then I think we'll be, we can create each individual like a good person. And yeah, why was I saying like a Dharma Dhatu, praise Dharma Dhatu mean praising to your own goodness. You have to be really proud that I have the Buddha nature and I have the good potential to become the most beautiful person or the most awakening person. And our mind is something that if you transform that with the wisdom, some of the recipe that you get from the teaching, many different after the tradition, including Buddha's teaching, and then multiply this good thing, mature this good thing, and then how we can create like a good individual. Yeah, it was the verses. It says here, just as seed of rice and other plants are treated by the farmer with great care, aspirants who wish to make the greatest journey are treated by their guides with great care. It's using the kind of farmer and rice. And if you try to create that seed, the profession, seed of the profession, we have, each one of us has, which is known as Dharma Dhatu. Dharma Dhatu means Buddha nature, or the potential of the basic goodness. Some people say basic goodness. I like this kind of term. I think, have you heard Chogyam Trungpa Rinpoche? Chogyam Trungpa Rinpoche. I used to read a lot about him and him. And one of his students, I think she's Canadian, Pema Chodron. I think she wrote a book about his teaching. And she and some other his student, they use this term for the Buddha nature, basic goodness. I like that, interestingly. I mean, I don't know, is a good translation or not, because if you want to be the authenticity of the text, then maybe, we can use the kind of loose sort of a word. But when you say basic goodness, what is basic goodness? What do you think? What do you get? I'm just curious about,
Is how we all have maybe some like innermost desire to be good or to do good to others at a deep level, maybe.
In a desire, or okay, that's another. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we all wish good. We all wish happiness. Nobody wish to have suffering. Nobody wish to have, wrong thing to happen to your life. Nobody wish to have, chaos thing happen to your life. That's another. Yeah, that's another way to put it. And I thought it was kind of an interesting way to put, because in basic goodness, the foundation of the goodness is within yourself already. And how can you really discover that? And we need to discover, you need to discover that, and you need to mature that. You need to, activate that. And I think Kishla often use the, invoke or activate that. So how do you activate that? By nurturing with the, say like when you plant a seed in the, like a fields, rice or apple trees or anything, you need to put like a compost, water. Similarly, we have the Buddha nature, we have the potential to become a good, like hopefully awakened. But then if you do not really nurture it with the, other condition, listening, teaching, good teaching, and then reflecting, and then also put into like a practically, practice, then, you could really increase furthermore. Yeah. So, how long you have supposed to talk?
We have all night.
Sorry?
We have all night.
Oh, whole night. Yeah. What is the purpose of your life? It's an interesting question, right? What do you think? Some people think that it's an interesting question, right? How many of you think that my life is meaningless? Sure.
So someone gave me a very interesting concept to life, and what he said was that typically longevity.
Oh, sorry?
So someone gave me a very good context to life, saying that life is like a pizza. So I asked, why is life like a pizza? So he said, how many slices in pizza? So I said 8 slices. So he said, typically humans live up to 80, 85 years. And each 10 years that you complete, you've eaten your 1 slice. So I said, by that logic, I've already eaten 6 slices because I'm 62. So he said, now focus on those 2 slices of what you can do for others rather than just for yourself. And make sure that you make the most out of those 2 slices by being happy and making others happy too. So
what is the pizza? Pizza is your life, or
So-
the kind of?
so the life
Yeah.
represents the pizza pieces. So like I've eaten 6 pieces out of 8 now, but only 2 are left, and what I can make out of those 2
Okay.
pieces.
You means like a time, like life will end some days, right?
Yes.
That's what you meant.
And you have only so much time left. So
Yeah, we
what
have
can
to
you
do
do
it.
with that remaining time?
Yeah, use for the good, right? For use
Yeah.
for the good purpose rather than wasting time.
Yeah.
So life is really short. That's definite. So that's why in the Lamrim you say like death is.
And by the way, he was an
death is-
Italian.
Sorry.
The person who said that was an Italian, so I could relate that because he was an Italian, he was thinking of pizza even in life.
Yeah. Okay. Use for the good purpose.
Yes.
Whatever time you have left, use that for the good purpose rather than wasting. That's really true. Yeah. Okay. So I touched that, life, the purpose of life is happiness, and then, remove suffering. And then how do you really define happiness? And how can you really develop, or how can you really generate genuine happiness? You could have like a superficial level of happiness, genuine happiness, long-lasting happiness. You could have this kind of thing, definitely. Then how can you really create these things? What kind of causes, condition we can create? We can think about this a lot, because since we have this beautiful mind, the bright, the intelligent, or the wisdom, or the innate kind of wisdom that we have, and how can you really cultivate furthermore, cultivate or generate or multiply these good things within yourself? And you could maybe good to study about how can you really create more condition or causes that bring you happier. I think I can tell some, you could have influence from the culture background, the childhood, or how you really grew up in the environment. Like me, I grew up in like very tiny kind of a community in the mountain in Himalaya. And when we were little, like 6, 7 years old, we don't have this kind of exposure right now. Nowadays, the children from the age of 4, 5, they have so much pressure. They have to go to school, homework, and they have no time to spend like with the nature. Of course, they are getting good education, the modern education, whatever you call it. But like me, I grew up in the village. Everything is organic. There's no internet exposure, no, like today, nothing. What we do is we play with the dirt, we play with the dust, rock, animals like cats and dogs, and then domestic animals. And we go to the mountain, and then just go to the fields or run around here and there with bare feet. We are so happy. We have a lot of freedom, interestingly. I think this kind of environment really helps to enlarge your brain and the heart. I guess that's how comparatively, I'm a really happy person, interestingly. even though any very kind of like what I say, difficult times come, I don't get kind of heartbroken sort of feeling. Never ever. Interesting. And then, okay, something that somebody have created this kind of thing happen. So let's try to find out how can you really overcome that. How can that you not really affect yourself, affect your peace of mind. If there's some like something wrong thing or something unpleasant happening outside of your community or maybe within your community, you could just maintain peace of mind yourself really well. I guess from the education system from the very young age is better a lot too. So we grew up with a lot of freedom, but at the same time, so much kind of connection, the family connection, right? I mean, you also know about this in a village life. Village life is really nice, interesting, very nice actually. I go to I came to Dharamsala when I was 13. Until 13, I stay at the home, and then we have everything with nature. Mountain, rivers, cats and dogs and cows and zomos and like a nomad camp, fields like this. And I never went to like a formal sort of school, but I learned how to read and read scripture, Buddhist teaching from my dad and my grandfather. But we were really happy. Interestingly, we grew up really nice environment, like this kind of hall, big family, all stay together and then share the story. And then the stories are mostly like some legend people, like Bodhisattva's story, Guru Sambhava's story, and then something related with like past masters. And then the elder people that tell the story, this teaching actually passed from generation to generation until now. Nowadays, you have this, formal setup school, and then children, when they have like a 4 or 5, when they're able to speak, they have to pack like a big backpack and just have to run 8 o'clock, run to the school. Of course, good to get school, but at the same time, even good to teach some of this very valuable thing that you have. And there are some backward kind of thing there, but you can discard them. But some of the good thing, how to really bring our children in good human being. Because we are talking here like the purpose of life. The purpose of life is happy, right? Then how can you really be, if we offer the facility for our children to grow up with very good mental mindset from young age, from really young age, it stays really kind of in your mind. You never forget. It stays really good in your life. And if you get this exposure with like a lot of distraction thing from really young age, playing with it. Nowadays, see, when I go to visit the village now, and in comparison, I've been in Dharamsala for 35, 36 years now, and then I go to visit, sometimes I visit my family, dads and my sibling, and then you have the internet, you have the technology advancement. It's good to know each other. It's all interdependent. There's a lot of advantage to having these facilities. At the same time, you have to be really careful that you do not really get enslaved of this gadget and the internet. So it's not easy when you're looking in a village, like young 2-3-year-old children, they play with the phone. If you do not, the parent does not really give the phone, they will scream, they will cry. It's not that healthy in a way, right? But how can you really? And then sometime in the schooling during COVID, remember this, everything turned into online. And then the school children have to do the homework, listening to teaching online. But you get a lot of advantage out of it. But then for young children, it's difficult, right? We don't know. We are actually kind of very interesting era, right? So, but my life was kind of influenced with the nature, and then the respecting the elders and taking care of the youngers, and then the lifestyle in this Himalayan region, the Tibet. It's had something very unique. I could really discover this really unique things are there, but now people are struggling a little bit about this some gap in between the older generation and the younger generation. Younger generation have a lot of influence with the science, technology, and yes, they are open-minded in a way, but sometimes they find it a little difficult to deal with very small thing. They freak out. How can they do that? Maybe you educate at the same time how to make the education part of your life rather than in books, and maybe the education shouldn't be like in the head. Education should be in the heart too, right? How do you really relate with your own life experience, the day-to-day life? How do you really speak? How do you really interact with people with respect for the others? At the same time, you respect yourself too. So there are some changes taking place in different parts. It's not only in the Himalayan Tibet. I think it's all over the world. It looks like that way. But you can't control everything, but you can do whatever you can, right? So what I was talking about the happiness, right? How can you really promote happiness? Any thought, Nicola? How can you really promote happiness in your area, and then expand that to outside your area? Is there any kind of constructive thing that you can do? Not only just because of your Buddhism, or not just because of you have this influence of the Buddhist teaching, just as a human level, rather than, just at a human level. Do you have any idea? I want to learn from you.
I mean, maybe it would just be the results of ending suffering for other people. Maybe if you're ending the suffering of others, then the results could be promoting happiness.
Right.
I don't know.
Ending suffering. How can you take this other suffering with your hand? You can wash it, or maybe
I wish.
some antiseptic. I'm just joking. It's true, because when he's talking about suffering, and what kind of suffering? And then the suffering change, then they go but a deeper level, like pervasive conditional suffering. What is samsara? I think it's just gaining more knowledge about it, and then you can deal with it, right? Yeah, that wisdom is the thing. Yeah. Yes.
Some people. So there's a saying: some people spread happiness wherever they go, and some people spread happiness whenever they go.
Wherever they go, whenever they go.
So,
Whenever
you
go,
should be the first one. You should spread happiness wherever you go, but not whenever you go.
Exactly. That's nice. Try to expand your happiness wherever you go. Wherever you go. That's nice. Yeah. I think wherever you go, whoever you meet, right? Wherever you go, whoever you meet. But then what to do if the other person is not accepting? What will you do? If somebody said, I believe in happiness, promoting happiness. I believe in that because it's deserved. Everyone deserves to be happy, and everyone deserves to be happy, not suffering. And then there's some people, if they do not really accept that, and what will you do? What will you tell? Wherever you go.
So I will tell them that if you don't feel happy wherever I go, then whenever I go, then you feel happy.
Right. So yeah, I think the best thing to get purpose in life is try to make the differentiation between what is wrong and what is wrong, what is right and what is wrong. But by studying the teachings, I would say like authentic teachings, they're coming from different traditions. I think the essence of most of the religious teaching are similar about promoting compassion, patience, tolerance, generosity, ethical discipline. There are a lot of common things are there, but then when you go to the technical thing, then you have a subtle explanation need to be required, and for that you go for like an NMC class or an NDC class or some other teachings. That there are many teachers, not necessarily like a Buddhist teacher, but you could go, but be careful, be smart. What kind of tradition, what kind of teaching are we adapting? Because you want to be like a right track rather than wrong track. If you end up like some kind of controversial thing, then sometimes it's difficult to get away from that, right? So, His Holiness often say like, put your nose like an elephant nose, rather than, dog meeting the dog meeting the meat. If the dogs say the meat, so just jump and read, right? That's not really smart way to do. Yeah, you have something to share about how do you really promote happiness? And how do you really define happiness? You? Oh, yeah. I thought you said you would, oh, okay. Yeah, I think, it's just it's really big word. It's really big issue. I mean, sorry, it's very big topic about what is your purpose of your life. I think I found one scientist saying, what the scientists are saying about, yeah, interesting. Psychologists say for the happiness, they said, some psychologists suggest that humans are motivated to discover a purpose for their life, motivated to discover their purpose of life. Interesting, And having a sense of purpose is crucial to well-being, for your well-being, well-being of your mind, well-being of your physical body. We have got the physical body and the mind. Out of the physical and then the mind, well-being of the mind is most important than the physical. Of course, the physical body should be healthy, but if your mind is really well, healthy, it's much powerful. You can stand really happy and stand still, even though everything is collapsing. You can still remain like calm. His Holiness often tell like that, when there's so much chaos happening, at the beginning it's difficult to kind of understand why this is happening, and then you think deep down, and his mind's always remain like the ocean. The ocean, the waves could come, but then it's go back to the ocean, right? So this is how we have to create our mind, to make like move very steadily, calmly. And it means it's a huge teaching, My mind always remain like an ocean. And then you can think about how can I transform my mind to remain like an ocean, all right? And you can think about this. How can you really do this? And then you can use this logic and reason, and then think about getting angry or feeling of revenge if someone cause you trouble. If you are thinking that I'm going to fight with him or her, if you fight with him or her, does that will give you like what you need or not? Probably not, right? It will escalate the problem more, because if there's a fire, if you put kerosene on it, what happened? It's burn more, right? So maybe if you try to practice patience and try to understand with very smartly, try to understand that person. Maybe this may be kind of harmful for you. At the same time, you're harmful for me too. Let's try to not get angry. Let's try to find some good purpose in our life rather than getting angry, getting revenge, getting hatred, getting kind of like a competitive mind. Some competitive things are helpful in a way to get the competition mean like someone is doing good thing, someone very successful thing, very influential thing for in the society. Then seeing that qualities, then seeing that person quality, I want to do the similar with him or her too. That's actually motivated to benefit others and yourself. But then the competitive thinking that I won't be the best, I don't care whatever happened to others, that's not right thing to do, right? And then because of that, jealousy come up, and then you have been jealous so much, our mind is already stirred up. Then that's not the right thing either. So you need to think about so many different layers to get fulfill your purpose in life. And yeah, and this psychologists and scientists are saying interesting thing. And then another scientist said what? From a scientific perspective, the purpose of human existence could be seen as contributing to the continuation and evolution of life, or as seeking to understand the universe and our place within it. Place mean no external place. Well, I mean, I don't know whatever they're referring, but within yourself, within. When it comes to the word within, it's not really just in the room. I think it's within your mind stream, or maybe I know some scientists will go something different, especially the neuroscientists. They'll do different kind of a measurement, different, like what do you call research thing. But if you are really kind of objective, if the scientists have really something that motivated to benefit something, they will do the the right research on it. They said it's purpose of human existence or human life could be seen as contributing. The word I found, contributing. I thought, oh, that's a nice word. Contributing means contributing to good purpose, not really the wrong thing. It looks like motivated with a good thing, but then the action sometimes could lead into the wrong. There's some saying like what, good intention turns sour. Because I've been some science workshop in the past, like long ago, and they were telling about some of the scientific advancement that we have. There's so much advance in the medical science and then environmental science there, but there are a lot of side effect, creating destruction thing, and then why this is happening. And then this question often comes because in the science and the philosopher do a lot of exchange things. And then they were saying like, you have their own kind of law. The scientific community have their own, rules and regulation. You have to stick with this. And their motivation is not really creating kind of the weapons things. Those who discover how to create bombs or maybe weapons, their motivation wasn't to destroy the world, destroy our own home. Their motivation wasn't that, but they were doing a lot of research about creating medicines. Some of the diseases, some illnesses that you don't have the medicine for that. For example, like tuberculosis or cancer or HIV, and there are so many different kind of illnesses that come and they couldn't find right medicine, the right treatment, and they do a lot of research about these things, and then they turn at the same time try to create something good, but at the same time they could create the wrong thing too. Interesting things are there, so we can't really blame those she did it or he did it or politician or what do you call business people. So many different kind of things involved in this, so you can't really blame those who have created, like for example, what was that, atom bomb? I was on this, what was that? It's called Science Educational Tour in San Francisco long ago, 2012, and we visited this. It's this one very nice kind of a museum. It's called Exploratory Museum. And then I learned about the person who created the most dangerous weapon. I think so, yeah. And then reading about his life story and from family objection, and then the pressure or the influence from the politician, he have no freedom to choose. How sad kind of thing there, it's so then they're human being too, but then sometimes even though you don't want to do, but there's threatening your life. If you do not really do this, you're going to kill you or you're going to imprison you. I think his story was interesting. I think his brother or what is just someone who object to do this, and then the politician, what did they do? They expel from job, and there was a lot of story behind there. And if you have someone who really see the long vision to save our world, definitely this shouldn't happen, but this has happened, what to do, So there are certain things that we can't really reach to them, but we can do our own, our own capacity, our own potential. So, our own contribution. Here he said like contribution, contributing to the continuation of our life. Continuation means not destroying, right? I think continuation, we want to live for continuously, but of course, you don't live forever because impermanent, this life is impermanent, but then what happened in life after death? This question could ask again, it's not really, life is not just for survival in a way, especially like a human life. It's true, the survival is a thing, you need to survive happily, but it's not just the survival. Just the survival, anybody can survive, but we can do something more, something better. That's why you had to think about our life. The purpose of life is contributing to continuation. Evolution theories, these are another thing. And then, the psychologists or the scientists or the educationists, there are so many good things in the world. Sometimes if you just think about what is the wrong thing happening, if you keep thinking of this problem, you could get some, like a mental problem. You shouldn't do these things. You need try to understand the positive side at the same time, aware what is going wrong. And what is going wrong, then try to prevent this kind of thing shouldn't happen in the future. And whatever way we can do, each individual have capacity to do some contribution. Doesn't matter whether you're famous or not, doesn't matter you are rich or poor. As a human being, we all have the great mind. We all have the potential to do some contribution for our society, for individual. If you can't really do much kind of impact for like a larger society, but at least you can, influence some people around you, and then we get the maximum kind of benefit. You can find that kind of peace of mind, right? You won't be able, you won't get kind of a regret in the future. If there's something that you could stop, really wrong, really some distraction, go for it and stop it. So then you will get satisfaction with that. But if there's nothing that you can do, then pray for that I could do in the future sometime. But at this moment, I am not in the position to stop this, but I'll never give up. I'll go for it, and when the times come. He's, the Buddhist Shantideva said, if something, this is the perfect, what's that? The very famous, the popular, His Holiness often, cited. If something is, what is that? If something is, something could be changeable, something can be doable, you don't have to worry. If something cannot be changed, something cannot be doable, then there's no reason for you to worry, right? So think about this. And then if there's nothing that you can do, then you have no regret. If there's something that you can do, then do it. If you do not, then if something really chaos thing happen after some time, then you see that, oh gosh, yeah, if I stop that, it will benefit a lot. I didn't use my human intelligence to stop this chaos thing happen. So then you feel regret and you feel guilty. So because of that, I think as a human, you need to find the purpose of life. Purpose for your own life, for others, your family, your friends, and then the larger society. I think these are the things. And I think, it's really simple talk. Simple, but you can dig a lot into you can dig a lot into that based on reason, logic, and then based on the teachings coming from different traditions, particularly like Buddhist Shakyamuni teaching, and then many of the commentaries, and Lama Tsongkhapa's teaching, Arya Nagarjuna teaching. If you have interact with them, go for it. If not, but whatever interests for you, and try to learn, and at the same time try to implement with our own life. And then, so when the times come to say goodbye, means when you die, we won't be in a regret, right? So I think, so if you have any question, I'll stop this. The main kind of thing is the purpose. Yeah, okay. If you have any question, I will try to answer. If not, then
Yeah.
Namaste.
Namaste.
I want to ask, like you talked about Zanskar mountain villages. So I've been to Zanskar once,
Oh.
and I've seen the village there. So, I mean, aren't they happy by default? I mean, they are, more clear mind and, less distractions. Like if we compare to a city life, like where we have, more distractions like internet than all in the professional life. I mean, does it mean like the more simpler you live your life and the more happy you can be because of by default you have a more clear mind?
Interesting. I think it's good to do some good research on it. But from superficial thing, when my personal kind of experience or judging, people who live in simple life, especially with the nature, they look more calm and peace and happier than those who live in very busy towns, cities, or especially there's like a big city. It looks like there's some differences are there, but it's quite difficult to make this kind of general sort of statement. What I was sharing about in my own experience growing up in a very simple way. Those times we have no internet, no phone, no television, nothing. I think only radio, the small radios. Then you could listen to kind of news. Otherwise, you don't have. It's just very grow up with the complete kind of nature. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think with more money, your life becomes more miserable. I mean,
Greedy. Yeah.
Kind of.
Now there's a problem there. If you get more, then never enough.
Yeah.
That's not good right either. Of course, there are certain area you need to have, good health system or good education. Everybody have the right to get a good education. Everybody have the right to get the, like a medical, treatment. You should have, whatever. But sometimes there are certain area it look like there are some unhealthy things happening, like in Leh town, in the capital of Ladakh. And there are young people who are kind of smoking, taking drugs, and then getting drunk, and then sitting like lying on the street. There's a kind of unhealthy things happening these days, and even in Zanskar area now, the young people who finish their schooling, like let's say high school, and then go for college, university in the big cities like Delhi, Chandigarh, Jammu, different cities, and then when they come to the summer break or whatever, well, it's good there for them, and of course the young people they could enjoy their life too, but sometimes they're drinking a lot, and then drinking all this junk thing, right? Whiskey, rum, I don't know, whatever they were talking, and then they fight each other, and then it often end up coming to the police station. And a few years ago, I was at the home, and then I was listening and getting so many kind of story about this the college student or university student. They are actually go for, like in summer, interesting party, so many retirement party, marriage party, I don't know, whatever. There's so many parties going on. And then this young, like college student, right? Maybe they go, they invite all their friends and families, and they drink a lot. That's not a healthy thing. When we were young, we do have they say this alcohol thing. We don't have this kind of this, what do you call it, rum or whiskey or this thing. We have the traditional one. It's called chang, which is made of grain, and they are actually healthy in a way. For the winter was really cold. Nowadays the weather is changing. It's getting warmer. Those times we are actually just covered by snow almost like 6-7 months, and then to keep warm, you have animal skin to wear, and then woolen things to wear, and then they make fire, and then they drink chang, but they don't get that much kind of health problem those times. For example, my father is now 80 plus. He's very healthy compared to my younger brothers and some other village, like a younger, those who have this modern kind of facilities. They're saying having good time, having party, what party, then go for eating good food is okay, but too much drinking, sorry, but this is really happening. But there are, but you also, these are happening, but at the same time, there are some like NGO, like the Buddhist organization or the youth organization or Women Alliance. They are actually trying their best to, like minimize this wrong sort of, like indulging thing in the society and try to promote this, the culture which is based on compassion, tolerance, and non-violence. So they are doing a pretty good thing, and the monasteries and the nunneries are also involved with this. So they are trying to find the balance in a way. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other question?
I have one, Geshema.
Yes.
I'm not very good in Sanskrit. I thought Buddha nature in Sanskrit is Tathagata Garba.
Tathagata Garba.
Because you talked about
Devshini.
Dharma Dhatu.
Dharma Dhatu.
What is the difference between Dharma Dhatu and Tathagata Garba?
Okay, the Tathagata Garba, Dharma Dhatu. Okay, in Tibetan, the word Dharma Dhatu is Chiying. And then Tathagata Garba is a Deshe Nyingbo. But just a different term, but the same thing. Same meaning. In English, you use Buddha nature. I'm not good in Sanskrit either, but we call like in the text, the impress of the Dharma Dhatu, which is Chiying Kiying Suttapa in Tibetan. Chiying means the nature, and so the ultimate nature of your mind, actually, referring to the ultimate nature of your mind, which is Buddha nature. Deshe Nyingbo, another thing is Deshe, the worship in Buddha. Nyingbo is the essence of the Buddha. This is another term. Deshe Nyingbo means essence of the Buddha. Yeah.
It's because strictly it refers to the emptiness of our mind, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. That's why.
It's referring to the emptiness of mind, yes. Tathagata Garba or Chikiying. Yeah. Emptiness of the mind is the nature, is the Buddha nature. The emptiness of your mind is the ultimate Buddha nature. It's when you say the ultimate Buddha nature and the proliferating Buddha nature. So the mind is the proliferating Buddha nature. Yeah. Any other question or comment?
Online also feel free to unmute
Yeah, why
yourself
not?
if you want to
Yeah.
ask a question. Okay, Shema, I just remembered when you talked about, saying hello in the street. Many years ago, His Holiness was in Brussels, and a friend of mine was traveling with him. So I showed him around, in Belgium. And every time we would run into someone in the street, a stranger, he would say hello with a big smile. In the beginning, I was so embarrassed. I was like, what is he doing? People don't do that here. It feels so uncomfortable. My skin was so red,
I see.
But then after some time, I noticed that most people, they were so happy, because he was greeting people with a big smile, a big warm hello.
That's nice.
And I thought, wow, actually, I mean, I'm not
See?
able to do that, but I thought, wow, this is the
Some
influence of His Holiness on my friend,
Exactly, that's good.
Like saying hello to all the strangers in the street. They were so happy. Yeah.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Yeah, some good changes are taking place. That's really true. It's remind me too. One time I went to Paris with a friend, and we would, in Paris is a really nice place, right? You just walk. You can walk all over the cities, right? And I was quite early time, and then our friend, I was walking around. She said, we have to cross the street sometime. I mean, they're stranger, of course. And then I have this kind of habit, okay, wait, and then let other people go first, and then I can go. And we're getting into the train, subway. I just wait, and then let other go, and we can go. And she always said that, they won't give you should just go. Otherwise, when you won't have the seat, we won't get the seat. I don't know. know, maybe not really that true. Maybe some places it could be true. But yeah, there are really a lot of influences are there. People are really happy, and I mean, tried to influence this about the hello thing, smiling thing. There's nothing wrong to smile. Some maybe have this culture thing. If you smile and try to say hello, they may have their kind of a experience. Maybe he or she is expecting something to do for her or something. This kind of negative thought could occur too. You never know, right? But with the pure motivation to try to just interact with the, interact with other human being, why not just go for this, right? That's very beautiful. Anything more? Any other comments? Or
also, Geshema, when you were talking about how to have a healthy mind is more important than a healthy body, I remembered, 2011, Lama Zopa Rinpoche, he took the aspect of having a stroke.
Yeah.
And there are so many stories that when he was at the hospital, even though it just manifested a stroke, he was so happy, like he was laughing and smiling, and whatever was happening to the body didn't matter so much because the mind was happy.
Exactly. Same thing about Kirti Sanjay Rinpoche. Kirti Sanjay Rinpoche. So I know him quite well, and I think he has a cancer, I think. But he was hospitalized in Delhi. I think he had to do some surgery or something. But his body, physical body is very weak. It is, you need to have the surgery or whatever. The illness is taking his life. But his smile, oh my God, it's glowing. And then the hospital, the doctors and the nurses, they were so surprised. The illnesses that he was having, it's something that, people get really frightened, scared, scream, whatever thing that happened, right, for normal people. But he was just completely very peace and glowing, and his mind is just like an ocean. This was the story that I got from, the friend, and then all the health workers at the hospital, they were so surprised. How did this really happen? That's why, the power of the mind is so, our mind is really powerful. But then when you make sure that you use for the good, for the constructive and for the good purpose, rather than, if you use for the wrong thing, then you could destroy yourself, destroy others, maybe sometimes even destroy the whole community, destroy up everything. So we shouldn't do this kind of thing, yeah. So anything else? Any other comment or question? If not, we could, stop. It's now. It's all 8:30. It's okay, right?
Of course, yes.
Thank you so much for coming. And I'm sorry we had to wait, but anyway, you just pick up this really simple topics. What is the purpose of your life? Maybe go with this. You try to find more kind of, like a recipe about how can you really find good purpose in your life. There are many different purposes out there, not just one, Yeah, the simple thing is, if the purpose of life is happy, not really high suffering, then how can you really cultivate, how can you really find the genuine happiness, and how can you really remove the suffering? And then how many different types of suffering are there? And then are we really, like recognizing suffering as suffering or not? Because, often we don't really, recognize suffering as suffering. We just misconceiving that, the suffering nature is just pleasant. But then how could this happen? Because our mind is diluted in a way, but we are human beings. Our mind is diluted in a way, but we can remove this delusion. We can really remove this, and you can make it glowing. So, keep digging how can you really find good purpose in life? Many different angles and different direction, and try to focus that, and then maybe read, listen, and watch something good. You can find in the books, you can find in the internet, you can learn from people, and you can find from anywhere. There are a lot of good things are in the world too. You can't really just feel like desperate or stressed, or nothing is meaning. There are some people who said, like, I find there's nothing in this world. and everything goes wrong. No, not everything goes wrong. It's just a matter of how you really look at it. Externally, it definitely influences your mind, but if you like create our own mind stronger to understand the reality, how to deal with the reality, and then we can defeat the external obstacle, and then you can maintain like peace and have peace, calm, contentment, happiness, and then stress satisfaction. Yeah. Okay, so thank you so much, and thank you for having me here. And it's a pleasure to just say a few words about what is happiness. What is purpose in your life, or what is right purpose or wrong. Purpose means something good, right? Something useful in your life. And national happiness. That's another thing about. I read a lot about in Bhutan thing, and then the same thing about national happiness of India, or maybe America, or maybe Tibet. Why not? You could create this kind of center where you could create the happiness. And one time, interesting, we usually smile for just naturally. The smile should come naturally, right? It was really kind of surprising for me. One time I was watching news, and then I think in Mumbai, they said laughing yoga. I thought, what is that? Well, laughing yoga. I thought, what is that, laughing yoga? And I just searched about that and then asked some friend, what does it mean? What does it mean by laughing yoga? People who live in the city, big city, who have this work demand, this very busy life, they find really stress because of their work, the load of the work, and then, the environment, everything. So they get really stressed, sitting on the table, the computer or the chair, like, I don't know how many hours, and they get a lot of stress, and then they try to get something happy, release this toxic thing happening in the mind or the body. And what they do, and they just, maybe like lunch break time or some, they find some kind of a break time in between and go into a park, in the city. And then they just try to laugh each other, make each other laugh. And then just, how do you do? And I asked the friend, how do you really do these things? And she said, they go to all in the naked time, let's say like after lunch, 1:30, let's meet in the park. And then we try to, laugh each other. Then they go in the park and they start laughing each other. You have to intentionally try to laugh each other. And they were just laughing like, ha, ha, ha. I found like really interesting. That was funny. And does it work? And I just asked, does it really work and help them or not? Probably yes. And after some time, it become more kind of natural laugh. At the beginning, they have to like make people to laugh. I don't know whether they still have this kind of program or not. They were doing this, and it was actually the news. Anyway, you have to find something, right? When you're really stressed, and you need to find the certain. It's depend on the level, depend on your situation, the circumstances. Anyway, it's kind of joke, but it's good to. Okay, so thank you so much. And then few verses to dedicate. If you have created some merit, I'm sure it's a really nice area. And I was joining teaching talk with Geshe, from Tibet House online many times, and I see the Buddhas and the Meteor Buddha behind. So today, my first time that's entering into this wall is so blessed. I feel really, really blessed. You can feel the kind of easiness. You can feel like it, your fine mind, your mind just go like, what do you call it? Just kind of melting into this, nice place. So yeah, I'm sure we have, created some merit to dedicate that last long and continue to expand our happiness, continue to expand our joy, happiness, and then try to remove the suffering and then these causes. Most important thing is find out what are causes that bring us suffering, and then the immediate cause, and then there are like a little bit the root cause. Then when you go to the root cause, that complicated. In India, require to study and reflect more. So there's a way, definitely, there's a way that you can remove this causes of suffering, definitely, sure. But then how you really do? By learning, by reflecting, by studying. Study could, mostly like the Nalanda teaching, the Buddhist teaching is the best medicine for your mental health. I mean, we are not promoting Buddhist teaching for the world, but you can find a lot of wisdom and compassion that you could keep our mind happy, our mind grow furthermore. That's you could slowly you can glow outside. Similarly, that we're sharing about Lama Rinpoche and Kittisan Rinpoche and His Holiness, and they are able to find the true happiness within yourself. Then we all have we can do too. Why not? Because we all have the Buddha nature or the basic goodnesses that we have, so we can do. Why not? So you put more extra kind of effort or courageous for yourself. That would be really, important for us. Not really fed up or get distressed. It doesn't help. Okay, so a few verses to dedicate this to the short talk to bring up a peace, harmony, and then the compassion expand all around the world. And then all the enlightened beings, including His Holiness the Dalai Lama and many other enlightened beings, to live long, to continue their activities, the noble activities that benefit for many, many, many beings around the world. So yeah, I'll say a few verses in Tibetan, okay? Thank you. Hari Ramya Kore Jingande, Penandi Wamali Chuene, Jerezi Wan, Tenzin Gasoye, Jabe Side Bardo Tengu Rachi, Jababare, Juda Kemana, Undo Zambo, Diande Jinde, Deda Kunde Jiso Dalo, Dewan Deda, Tamji Rabdu, Chanju, Semjo Rimboche, Maki Panam Kikyu. Kewa nyamba meba yang kong do pewa risho yangda tawa rinpoche maje banam kike kewa nyamba meba yang kong do pewa risho. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Geshema, thank you so very much.
Oh, thank you
And
so much.
please accept on behalf of
No.
Tushita this small
You could
offering.
offer to Buddha. Yeah.
And please come again and again to Tushita.
Yeah, we will come.
Whenever you're in Delhi, please let us know, and then we can
Yeah,
organize.
sure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. You could just offer to the
Yes,
Buddha. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, we have the Nalanda Master preaching. Thank us there. Thank you so much.
Tushena.
Thank you.
Thank you, Geshema.
Thank you. Okay.